I was born in 1987. I am a millennial. I have no memory of the Soviet Union. I don't know a time in my life when there wasn't a personal computer somewhere nearby. But I began school in 1992, the same year that Rodney King captured the national imagination and started a new type of conversation of what race relations would be like in the United States. Now, Quincy, Illinois, while a great opportunity for my college-educated parents, was a difficult place to grow up. It was 95% white, 5% all other. And one of my earliest experiences in my school was being told that I was dirty, because why else would my skin be brown? That early experience of direct racism endowed of me a sense of deep empathy for those who are other. So it was no surprise when I moved to Chicago from high school in 2001, September of 2001, that when the Twin Towers came down and I saw on the TV screen that people who were brown like me were suddenly our enemies, I thought the one place that I would hear a message of hope, a message of unity would be that church, my church, which for me growing up was the one place where it felt safe to be brown like me and embodied like me in the world. But that's not what I heard from my pulpit. What I heard is that Muslims were our enemies. There was something fundamentally wrong with them. That was not the gospel that I knew. That was not the gospel that I felt in my heart. So I sought alternative opportunities for my theological education, not knowing at that point that I would eventually go to seminary. But I was curious, so I kept probing and asking questions. Those questions led me to an organization called Interfaith Youth Corps. I became one of their first young people, an IFYC OG, as they call us now. And I got to know people like Adina, a conservative Jew from my rival high school in Chicago. She told me about the Torah and how she was going to take a year off to study it in Israel. Mostly we talked about prom dresses and graduation. But at a time when I was wrestling with my own faith identity, Adina became a force for me to think about my own text again, to think about my own faith again. I met people like Umar, a Pakistani Muslim who loved hip hop as much as me. And as we were doing service together, I got to know about Islam as a religion of peace. And my eyes and my ears and my heart was opened to what the world could look like in an era where rainbow-colored codes were dictating our levels of safety, in an era where war was raging and tearing apart communities, not just abroad, but in the low-income communities that my people lived in. Beloved, I believe that we are at a confluence moment. We know that religious diversity in the United States has never been higher. Harvard professor Diana Eck talks about America being perhaps the most religiously diverse nation in human history. That force is meeting us at the same time that America is becoming more racially diverse than ever before. Two mighty forces coming together. The question is whether or not they will become intricately woven in seamlessly into the narrative of what it means to be an American, or if, as the news would have you believe, we are destined to be divided. Now, I firmly believe that to understand the phenomena of what's happening today, we have to begin to explore these issues at the intersections, at the confluence of our identity. I stand today not just as a Black woman, although that's important to me, but as a daughter, as a child of the Midwest, as an expat in the South, and most of all, as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. No one identity speaks over and above the other. When I come to the table working on issues of justice, I have to bring the fullness of who I am to the table. Now, I believe that we are at a critical moment in our nation's history when presidential candidates can gain votes by saying that they will register Muslims. When violence is applauded at rallies, when young Black and brown people stand up and claim that they matter, we're at a pivotal turning point. And I believe that as people of faith, as beloved of God, we have the tools and the resources to begin modeling something new.